Hello, and welcome to my channel. You might already know me as KittyLynne, the guy who likes to start series and then go on hiatus for, well, a long time, alright? Anyway, this account might be a familiar sight if you've been here for a while. This is my macro efficient account, Camera Kuda. I started this account in 2021 with the goal of simply getting a quest cape so that I could go anywhere in the game to record video for my time traveler account time before. Since I originally got the quest cape in 2022, this account has sat mostly unused. Somehow I did rack up about 20 days of playtime, but the only real achievements are about 50 TOAs, Desert Treasure 2, and about 50 kills each of various bosses like Whisperer, Vardorvis, Vorkath, and Zulrah. Since then, a lot of content has come out, including the entire continent of Varlamore, so I have a lot of catching up to do. So why this account, why now, and what's the goal? I spent most of my time on OSRS playing restricted builds like Ironman or Leagues, and I'm excited to continue my unrestricted journey on a regular main account. I returned to the game after nearly 18 months to play the Raging Echoes League, and it really reignited my love for the game after I seriously burned out. The goal is simple, but also incredibly difficult. I want to max my account in 2025. On the surface, it may not seem like I'm that far off, but in actuality, I'm only about 16% of the way there right now. On an account I spent a year just getting a quest cape on. Yeah, it's going to be a difficult journey. According to Wise Old Man, an XP tracking website, I would need to spend about 2.5 of the most efficient hours of my entire RuneScape life per day on average to max in 2025. Let's be real, max efficiency isn't happening for me, but I'm going to give it my best shot anyway. That all said, let's go ahead and stop wasting this time that I'll sorely need and jump on in. The very first thing I did is of course get my herb run started again. This is not very efficient to do from an XP standpoint, but in terms of gaining GP, it's unrivaled in efficiency and ease. For about 5 minutes of work, I can gain 200 to 300k in profit doing my 8 herb patches. And there's a few more unlocks I can get, some of which we'll get in this video, that will make this even more efficient. When I do a herb run, I also do a birdhouse run that takes a singular minute for even more profit, though this is more for the hunter XP. In order to pick which herb I grow, I use the OSRS Wiki's herb profit calculator. Typically, this is Renar seeds in my protected patches and toadflax in my non-protected patches. Before we go on, I should probably provide an update on my bank situation. I've consolidated all my wealth from all of my non-Ironman accounts, and it adds up to a massive 140 mil. Yeah, I'm not rich, and I'm going to need a lot more GP to max this account. You might be asking, why does my bank value show 392 mil in value when I've only got 140? That's because the community around this channel has generously created this Wizard Mind Bomb collection that's worth 250 mil, and of course I won't be touching that. The very first grind we'll be taking on in this series is an easy one, 75 crafting, so I can build my own magic birdhouses and save some money on birdhouse runs. When playing OSRS, it's very important to have two simultaneous goals: an active goal and a passive or AFK goal. That way, regardless of how you feel like playing the game at any given moment, you can always make progress. This will be my passive goal for now, and I'll do it when I need downtime. As for my active time when I can focus on the game, I have a somewhat annoying first thing in mind. Right now, I only have the Lumbridge and Drainer medium diaries done, which only gives me 3 daily teleports to the Falador herb patch. By unlocking the hard tier, this is upgraded to unlimited teleports. I have all the requirements for this diary except for one: unlocking bones to Peaches at the Mage Training Arena. Why the Lumbridge diary has a requirement in the desert, I'll never understand, but diaries are pretty old at this point. We'll be here for 4 to 5 hours getting all the points required. And just like that, a couple hours in the telekinetic room has given us the 200 points we need for bones to Peaches. On to the graveyard room. Thankfully this room was updated not that long ago, so you take far less damage and can stay much longer, so it's not too bad. And a few more hours after that, I have all the points needed for bones to Peaches. The alchemist and enchantment rooms were not very interesting and went pretty quick compared to the others. Overall, this grind was not nearly as bad as I thought, and I was surprised I had been putting it off for so long. There we go, bones to Peaches unlocked, and I'll be able to do the diary task with it. A short while later, I'm able to harvest this Belladonna, and that is the final task of the Lumbridge and Drainer hard diary. So when you complete diaries in OSRS, you get XP reward lamps, and it's always a good question which skill you should put them on. In my opinion, you should pick either an expensive skill like prayer, or a slow skill like runecrafting. I personally don't mind earning GP to train an expensive skill, so I prefer to put it on a slow skill. I'll be putting most of my lamps on runecrafting since it should save the most time. And with that, we now have the Explorer's Ring 3 unlocking unlimited Falador teleports each day. Now in the time I've been gone, Varlamore was released, and it came with it a brand new herb patch. Of course, I want to unlock this patch to increase my herb run profit. In order to get access to this patch, I need to do the Children of the Sun quest, which is really simple and easy, but will also slowly push me towards reclaiming my quest cape. While Children of the Sun does grant access to the herb patch, I also want to complete Twilight's Promise to unlock a teleport that allows me to get there much faster. I can also apparently make this patch protected with 16,000 glory at the Coliseum, but that feels like a hefty goal, so we'll take on that later. Time for my next active goal. Keeping with the theme of improving my herb runs, I like to get the Ardoin Hard Diary done. I have all the requirements for this diary except 65 rune crafting, so here we are at Guardians of the Rift. I'm going to work towards the Raiments of the Eye for future rune crafting training anyway, so this shouldn't be too bad of a method to get 65. Here's a small unlock that came out in the time I was gone, Barbarian Farming. With this, you can plant seeds without a seed dibber and smash tree plant pots after planting. It really is just a convenience rather than an efficiency thing, but I wanted to get it unlocked anyway. A few more hours of AFKing in the background later and there's 75 crafting. Now I can craft those magic birdhouses myself. This is where I'll leave crafting for the time being, but when I come back to it, I'm definitely going to use a faster method. Blowing powered orbs just isn't good money or XP, though it is extremely laid back, so that's nice. So that brings us to our next AFK grind, fletching yew longbows unstrung. This is also not very efficient, but I have the yew logs in the bank already because there was a brief period of time where I wanted something extremely AFK to do on the side while playing my other accounts. I have about 10k more logs to fletch, so this will take a few hours and give us some decent XP. A little while later, however, we hit 82 fletching. This unlocks the method I'll probably be using for the rest of my way to 99 fletching, Amethyst Arrows. These are a pretty healthy median between XP per hour and cost, and can still be done while doing other things like running rooftops. They're not as good as darts, but darts can be incredibly expensive. I think it was around 7 or 8 hours at Guardians of the Rift, but we managed to get the 65 rune crafting goal. Through this process, we got 69 rift searches. Let's see if we get anything good. Yep, I got spooned the Abyssal Lantern. This is actually one of the most important drops you can spoon early on any minigame, since its sole purpose is improving the efficiency of said minigame. Other than the lantern, there's not much of note in the loot, and I'm still short of my first piece of the raiment set. No concern though, I'll definitely be back here the next time it's time to get some runecrafting XP. Of course, with that 65 runecrafting unlocked, I went ahead and completed the Ardoin Hard Diary. For some reason, unlike the Lumberjane Draenor Diary, the Ardoin Cloak 3 only has 5 daily teleports to the farming patch, so I'll likely still run out each day. Still, this is better than the previous 3 I had. We'll also be setting our sights on the Elite Ardoin Diary in the future for those unlimited teleports, but that's a long way off. One thing I did forget to restart after returning to the game is hardwood tree runs. This is a really simple way to train farming since you only have to visit every 3 days, and it only takes up a few minutes to replant the 3 trees. If all of them grow, you get 45k farming XP. If I keep this up every 3 days, I'll get around 5 million farming experience for the entire year, just from these trees alone. Obviously, I'll need additional farming XP on top of that, so regular and fruit tree runs are in my future too, but that alone is a huge help. I'll be keeping up with these for sure, especially because they're so cheap. On to our next active grind. One thing I had my sights set on before going on a hiatus on this account was the Desert Elite Diary. The Desert Amulet 4 gives you unlimited teleports to the shrine in Narda, which restores all of your stats, run energy, prayer, and hit points. I had actually spooned the Calphite Queen head early, so I have that already, but I still need a lot of stats. One of them is 91 thieving. That brings us to where we are, here at the Menethite Thugs. Blackjacking is actually one of the best methods for thieving, so I'll be here for a while. Right now, the goal is 81 thieving, where Pyramid Plunder becomes a lot more competitive XP-wise. Now, it's finally time to cash in on our first lot of herb runs. One small tip for working with the Grand Exchange is to make sure you're getting the absolute most for your items when selling. You can do this by buying one of the item you're selling, noting the price, and then putting your items for sale for 1 less GP than what you instantly bought it for. That way you know you have the best offer while also maximizing your profit. It may take a bit of time to fully sell, but those hundreds of K add up. As you can see, I spent about 2.1 mil on seeds and received about 9.5 mil on herbs, making for a profit of over 7 million. I did this over the course of 4 days, so it really wasn't too bad. Herbs will wind up funding most of our buyables as we work towards max. One other thing I forgot to check up on since returning to the game is my Miscellanea Kingdom. This is kind of a small thing, but it can earn you about 50 to 100k per day depending on margins for very little work. Typically, herbs are the best you can assign your workers to, followed by mahogany logs, but definitely use the OSRS wiki calculator to verify. I had no money left in my coffer, so I don't even know how long it's been since I've checked up on my kingdom, but I do have a few million of resources sitting in there, which is really great. And with these last few yew logs I've finished fletching, the yew longbow unstrungs I had in my bank are complete. As you can see, I have 20k of them, so it'll be nice to get the cash from them to keep using on other skills. Okay, now here's a bit of a pivot. Why am I training Slayer? Don't I already have an active thieving goal? Well, yes. My relationship with Slayer is a very rocky one. Generally, it's my most hated skill. I do appreciate that it tends to be decent money, but bouncing from task to task is just frustrating for me. That said, I don't want to leave it until last, or to a point where I need to focus on it for many days at a time. So that's why I'm going to be knocking it out slowly whenever I feel like doing a few tasks. You can expect Slayer clips interspersed throughout the videos from here on out as anything interesting happens. Like this. I had a Cuirass task where I got 3 leaf-bladed battle axes and a light mystic top in a single task. Not a lot of money, but still ridiculous RNG. But the RNG doesn't stop there. On a Black Demon task at Demonic Gorillas, I got my first Zenyte shard on the account. The crazy part? I got it after just 19 kills. It's crazy to me that these things are 19 mil. That basically increased my bank value by 20%, but we're not done there. About 50 kills later, I got my second Zenyte shard for another 19 mil in the bank. I also got Ballista Limbs on the next kill. If RNG keeps treating me this well, I'll have no problem funding the maxing grind. Overall, on a single Demonic Gorillas task, I got 2 Zenytes and 3 Ballista pieces. Crazy. And after that little burst of Slayer, it's time for the next AFK grind. I'll be barbarian fishing for the next little while, though I don't have an explicit goal with fishing in mind. Fishing is just one of my lowest skills, and with it being one of the slowest ones too, I'll need to get started on it sooner rather than later. I'd love to get 80 for infernal eels, but we'll see how far we get for now. That does unfortunately bring us to the end of the video. We made some good progress in this first episode, but it's just a taste of what's to come. We gained 21 total levels and about 3 million total XP this episode. That means we only made about 1% progress to maxing this time around, but we did get some other big unlocks like diaries done, and we increased the bank value by nearly 50 mil. We also got 2 quests done, bringing us closer to being able to wear that quest cape once again. Thank you so much for watching. I'm super excited for this series and I hope you are too. We certainly have a long way to go, but it's about the journey and not the destination. Take care and we'll see you next time.